his passion is really what inspires me on a day-to-day basis. I mean, I don't think we could do this job without the passion. And so yeah, I think just him being passionate about what he does and the people that he serves and the bigger picture too. I want to say like '07, I think, when the EPA were trying to dump toxic waste around in Kalamazoo. Like, we had a big rising up of the community and we were able to stop it. So that definitely just invites people to join in some of the things he's doing. And if you don't want to do that, find something else that you like to do and that you're inspired by.
Don studies, and he has tremendous resources. So anytime I need something, I can go to him, and he'll have a video for me, or he'll have an article for me, and we share resources. And to have someone to bounce ideas off of, and what do you think? He's a huge mentor for me, and I always run things by him because I really value his opinion, and I think he has an extraordinary rapport with the students. So he's definitely been a mentor for me. He teaches, the community organizing, and he gets people out in the classroom, and his passion is infectious. So you can't help but get excited about the causes when you're in his class. I remember being in his class and, being so inspired to go out in the world and do good things, but he also sets up off-site. He doesn't just talk the talk. He walks the walk, and he gets students out there doing it and seeing the value of their work. Don has been a peacemaker at the international level in Central America, in the Middle East, in South Africa. He's been a peacemaker at the national level, policy-wise. He's been a leader, a peacemaker at the state level, and then at the local level. And I think all those causes that he's worked for, he's moved the needle towards a more peaceful world. And I think it's immeasurable. When you have decades and decades of students that you've inspired, his impact is immeasurable. Many might say his work on social justice issues and his work on the city commission. I think the ripple effect of his teaching is his biggest contribution, because I know how inspired I was, and I'm a different and a better social worker from knowing him. And I know lots and lots of other students, colleagues, that were impacted by his classes and his work. And to educate students about peace and justice and that aspect of social work, I think is the biggest contribution he's made.
Outside of the classroom, what I try to do, what I've always considered my job, is to be aware of the injustices that are going on in our society, local, national, international, and find ways to connect with people that are trying to do something about that. And then try to bring students with me into those struggles. So, a number of the campaigns we had around South Africa, trying to divest from South Africa, around Central America. I used to take students in the summer to Central America and to spend time down there in Nicaragua and El Salvador. I took them to Jamaica to spend times down there, not so much in the resorts. We did go there a little bit, but mostly in the city with Kingston, where there's real poverty, University of West Indies. And then I try to take these movements that are going on locally, national, internationally, and then try to translate that into how can we here at the university get involved with that and bring students in. And then, as a city commissioner, because I've been a city commissioner now for 15 years, I always get a student to run my campaign. And when I ran for Congress twice, I got a student to run my campaigns for Congress. So they learn how to do that kind of stuff. They learn all the in or out of those kinds of things. And then, I guess one of the main things that I try to do is bring my students in contact with wonderful people who are models of social justice. I think the most important thing that people need to know is that they need to be a part of something bigger than themselves. And that they're going to be happiest when they are doing something significant with their life. And if they can learn about how to do that, and if they can learn through experience, the involvement in that, I think that makes a huge difference. Somebody told me one time, and I think this is what I would say to students: I love you for what you do. I love you more for what you are. But I love you most for what you love. And I try to help them understand what's really worthwhile love. What I've tried to do all my life is identify with the poorest people and the people that were most oppressed. And that's taken so many different forms. During the 1960s, I was involved in the civil rights movement. I lived in one of the poorest communities in the United States and worked with people in those neighborhoods. I worked against the war in Vietnam. I worked with the United Farm Workers. And internationally, I've worked with the South Africa struggle, the Central American struggle, the Palestinian struggle. And locally, I try to work in the poorest neighborhoods in Kalamazoo. So, it's all connected. The local, the national, the international, it all works together. Because it's all about people and what people deserve. Well, I think students need to realize two things. How fortunate they are to go to school, to go to college. I don't know what the statistics are today, but I saw a while ago that 1% of the world graduates from college. So the responsibility of going to college, you don't go just for yourself. You go, the best educator I ever saw was a guy from Brazil named Paulo Freire, and he said one time, we learn in order to heal the suffering of others. So I think that there's a tremendous responsibility to people who get this education have. And then the second thing is, I think that that social workers have to realize they do two things: heal people that are hurt, and that's really important. But they also have to get involved structurally to stop so many people from getting hurt. And that means social justice, that means social policy. That's what our Code of Ethics calls for. And I think that young people need to be looking at how do we put our skills to the service of all those people around the world who are trying to work for social justice.